morning. It's Eli, Tim, and Ginny from DS Tech, and we are going to talk about AI from hype to hazard. And what that means is AI was the darling of 2023. Everybody wanted to hop on the bandwagon.
Yep.
Well, not everybody, right? There's some holdouts.
Yeah.
But most of us are using it to help us with our work and all kinds of good things. But what about the security hazards? And that's what we're looking at in 2024 going forward.
Mhm.
So go to our website. You'll also find a blog post about this. And I share stuff like this in our newsletter. So make sure you sign up there at dstech.net. So let's talk about this. First, let's talk about how we're using it, how
Mhm.
useful it became in 2023, right?
So, for most people, it's simply rewriting stuff is the most common thing now, where you might have an email to someone and you're just like, that's worded slightly weird. I just wanted it in a different way. And you can dump it into an AI and give me like 3 different ways to say this. And I'll give you some options, more succinct. You can maybe, and I hate saying dumb it down, but explain it like I'm 5, right? Take something very technical and
I
run it through.
just did a blog post like
Can
that.
you do this for some, for someone who's not technical, and it'll kind of use some more analogies. So usually with that kind of stuff, people are using it. There's also the creative side where people are using it to make images, video editing. You hear like the deep fakes, all that kind of stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to keep taking over in more and more different areas of our life. So just make it so that you can concentrate on the task and kind of let the AI do the busy work for you. It's never a final product. It's always a rough draft. I still say, whether it's an image or anything else, you still want to put your final polishing on it, but at least get you to that rough draft much quicker than it would be in the past.
Absolutely.
What about the holdouts?
Most people that hold out, I don't know. I mean, it's just people are leery to use it, and I get that, but it's something that, in my opinion, is not going to go away. It's like, when search engines first started out, there was like 10 different search engines: Ask Jeeves, Alta Vista, Web Crawler, all those different ones. And then the end of it, a couple of them kind of took the king. So that's kind of what AI is happening now. I see where there's all these different AI technologies out there. They're all trying to do the same thing. At the end of the day, there's probably going to be a couple that are good.
Dogpile AI.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody remembers that, but it was Dogpile. You went to Dogpile's website, and it was a pile of search engines, and you'd search all the search
ones
engines
at once.
Yeah.
Search engine for your search engines, right? Yep. So there's going to probably be the AI and things like that coming down. So, so really, where people are kind of holding out yet, I think they're just hesitant to use it because they don't like the disruptive qualities of it.
Yeah.
But I also look at it as that with any technology, when it's new, it takes a little bit for it to be adopted. The idea of, for example, I use the analogy of people is when tractors were first invented, you got the farmers that are able to do more with a tractor versus just using horses, right? And it probably took a lot of people buy-in to switch to the new mechanical over the old horse, things like that. So just you can get more done, and there's going to be a lingering of people switching over to it. Now, eventually everyone's using tractors. Not too many people are still using horses to do their farming. So it just kind of depends on, the technology as it goes. And where I go with at the beginning of the title too is AI is simply just a tool. The tool can be used for both good and for bad, depending on who's holding the tool.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the sum of it.
Well,
So,
do you think
Just
a
like a
lot
brick,
of people have...
right?
it's like a brick or anything, yeah.
Right, yeah. I mean, do you think a lot of people have the perception that AI is this, just hyper-intelligent, technological
Oh, like in the
being
movies?
rather like, oh yeah, I saw
Yes.
Age of Ultron, man.
Like Person
so
of
it's-
Interest?
Right, it has some
Right.
sort of like sentience and stuff like
and
that.
realistically, it's more machine learning, correct?
Yeah, it's pretty much just
It's only
like
as good as what people put into it.
yeah, it's if you put bad data in, you're going to get bad data out as well. It's simply a tool to help automate different things. It's not fully like AI in the sense where you see in movies where it can think for itself and all this other stuff. Because even if you had an AI that could think for itself, a human told it how to think for itself with the programming behind it. So it's only doing what it's programmed to do as well. So until the AI is allowed to reprogram itself, I have different. We won't go into that.
Once we get one on a quantum
that's where we
computer,
have some
That's
it's
fine.
just zeros and ones.
yeah, that's
Watch
where it's
out.
yeah.
So what are the potential security threats
Well,
that we're looking at?
the biggest one is, unfortunately, hackers. You used to get the spoofed email messages and there was typos all over it. You could easily spot the fake emails because they'd spell Microsoft with zeros and stuff, or there's whatever.
Yeah.
Now, because of these tools, the hackers, even though maybe English isn't their native language, they can create a spoofed thing that looks like 99.9% as good as an English writer now because AI tools are helping them. So they're able to basically make their phishing emails look more legitimate using these, whether it be faking your logos, faking the way you're saying messages, all that kind of stuff. It all just kind of depends on what they're trying to do. So then, in here it talks about imagine the CEO's video. So this is kind of going down the rabbit hole further. That's what they're doing now currently with like phishing emails, where it could go down in another year or two as you have the deep fake audio video. So where they could tell you to, instead of clicking a link in the video, it'll say, call this number, I need to talk to you. You call the number and now it sounds like you're talking to your CEO, but it really is some dude in a keyboard just typing words in. And obviously you should be able to spot like the way, the cadence, certain things like that still now, but eventually it's going to get to the point where they can take a 12-second audio clip of you and create an audio replica that actually has cadence and breath and sounds very human-like. So,
and you can also, well, I'm not trying to teach any hackers out there what to do, but
they already know.
Yeah, they already
They're
know.
smart.
So you could go, wow, oh, sorry, I'm having issues with Teams today. Be easy. It happens
Can you
all the
call
time.
me instead for this thing?
Having
You
a
call
Zoom
them and-
issue.
Yeah. And really where I see it more of a threat is like the help desk, for example, where someone may call in and request a password from a help desk user and it sounds like a legitimate user, and then your help desk needs to be trained to verify to, passwords, things like that, giving them out. Because like the MGM Grand hack that happened last year, it was all due to like the help desk social engineering, phishing, things like that got a password reset that shouldn't, and things like that. So that's where you're going to see some of the deep fakes faking your audio. Video is going to be down the road. I don't see that. Like someone's going to get on a Zoom meeting with you and it's going to be a fake person, like to 100%. Like I see that's probably still a couple years down the road, but for the audio deep fakes, I see that coming up sooner than the video deep fakes there. Automated phishing. So same thing, phishing as a service. They sell that on the deep web, the dark web, whatever you want to call it, where you can pay hackers a group of money, give them your targets, and they'll use AI tools to basically target malicious emails towards certain individuals. So again, I was just talking about that earlier. Your standard phishing emails they're harder to spot for a standard user because they're looking much more legitimate due to
I
the
had
use
one
of
this
AI
morning,
tools.
From a local government nearby. So this is the sector we work in, and I'm one of the kind of forward-facing people. So I meet with our clients, but I'll meet with prospective clients too. So this one was so well put together that it had the actual employee's name and contact information. When I called them to verify if this was real, it actually took me to this extension. So it's been sorted out that was false, and it is isolated and handled.
Right.
But it is a little bit chilling to see how well
because
put together
they
some
can use
of
the
this
AI
is.
tool to basically scrape publicly available information on the internet, dump it into an email, and then it generates everything that looks legitimate. And again, you did the right thing. Called directly to verify. Did you send this? No, I didn't.
Right.
All right, that's weird. Let's figure this out.
Yeah.
Nip it in the bud.
I mean,
But
like you say, it didn't have any weird zeros in place of
or weird
those
trails,
or
the things you
anything.
tend to look for. It looks very
Totally
real.
normal looking.
And it's usually not the technical users that are getting phished at an organization.
No.
It's the forward-facing users, like you said, someone who's more sales, meeting with the customers, or marketing. Someone who's dealing with advertising, things like that. Those are the ones where their emails tend to be more public. They're out there, and so they're going to be hit the hardest. So as much as you want to do security awareness training with all of your staff, it's almost extra vitally important to make sure that those who are forward-facing get that training maybe almost twice a year instead of once a year, just to kind of stay up in the latest trends and things like that. Because those are all it takes is one door into the company, and then there it goes. So.
And if you're a hacker and you're watching this, thanks for the training.
Yep. So going to here, it also says hacking with AI, so they won't just be using AI to attack. They'll be building tools, etc. Just kind of talking about the speed and the scale. What used to take a hacker a week to create some sort of weird email campaign, they can fire off in like an hour now, just because the AI is automating the tools and the
They can
resources
use
for
AI
them.
to help create their programming too.
Mm-hmm. So the nightmare, and this one says autonomous weapons, the nightmare of AI-controlled weapon systems, while it's distant, raises ethical and security questions. So I'm pretty sure governments ideally will squash that one. That was
I'm
just
pretty
something
sure.
there, because you're still going to need human oversight and all that.
So-
I think otherwise, it's like what anyway.
Can I still have a
So-
space laser cannon for my militia? Or
Yeah.
Next question is,
Probably not.
should we abandon AI altogether?
I don't think so, because I think AI is a huge productivity boost, and it can actually help you in areas where it would be a lot harder to do, as well as it can also help, I guess, spread knowledge to those who may not have access to it. What I mean by that is, like, if you're not a lawyer, trying to read legal code is very hard to do. Well, you could actually have like a lawyer AI where you could dump all the code from whatever state you exist into it and ask it a question, and it can parse that code and give you a relative answer quicker. Obviously, lawyers are still very important. You want to do that, but like the idea is taking something that's very complex that used to have experts have to be able to know it. It's no longer going to be gated information, and the regular people are going to be able to take that stuff and use AI to possibly, get some information and obviously verify with an expert too. But it's going to allow for people to learn much more rapidly. I picture the idea of like a house robot, right, where you go into the doctors and there's a robot that knows all of your medical history, all of your family's medical history, all at once. And so when you have a problem, it knows you specifically, can give maybe the doctor 5 possible diagnoses, and then a doctor can then obviously make the final call. But the idea of that initial prognosis,
Chart
or
2
Take the
D2,
grunt
if you
work
will.
out.
yeah, chart
Right?
2D2. Yeah, that's a good one for it.
Yeah.
So I just look at things like that where it could be used to enhance people's lives for the better. And I think that will be, it's just a tool like anything, if used for good or bad. And so I think that the ramifications of using it for good still outweigh the negative aspects of it, and that people who are still using it for I guess you could say attacking and negatively hacking, things like that. All the good guys are using the same technology in the defense.
Yeah.
So they're building tools that are going to use AI to also then, defend against the AI attacks.
We
in
have
a sense.
AI in our tools, don't we?
Yep, they're starting to integrate some of our,
we
ticketing
get it.
systems and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. And as far as the response, if you use the SentinelOne product with the machine learning, all that kind of stuff, they use, to look for all this different stuff that much quicker than any program
Human.
prior, and human can
Well,
do it.
and we're
That's
already moving toward you can look things up quicker than you can remember them or have the
Mhm.
knowledge. You actually made a great analogy with the law office. I mean, I have a couple of family members in the industry, but one of them moved from a huge physical office with just like decades worth of encyclopedias and law
All
books.
the law books written
So
out,
many
also,
law books,
yep.
yes, tomes, this thick,
Yep.
to almost just more of a home office environment where there's, some PCs, some
Mhm.
books, but really just, there's so much more at your fingertips nowadays that it might just be an unfortunate naming of, AI,
Yep.
automated or artificial intelligence.
Right. And so that's why I always look at it. I almost call it like augmented intelligence, where it's
Yeah.
not artificial. It's still
Yeah.
you're using humans to program it and things like
Right.
that. It's just able to do functions that
That's
are
more
far
accurate.
superior.
Yeah,
than what it used to
certainly.
do,
I mean,
so.
That's more
Wow.
accurate. But, AI is the buzzword.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yep.
Oh,
So-
yeah,
So
it's-
this talks about some of the good things, developing ethical frameworks. So we need guidelines for responsible AI development. So this is talking about obviously that when people are developing these programs, there should be some oversight looking at the code. I'm all for more open sourcing certain parts of the code to make sure nothing nefarious is going on, and then being able to use those tools and improve upon them.
yeah.
Investing in cybersecurity. Obviously, cybersecurity is using AI on the defense, just like the attackers are using on the offense. So it's just going to be a constant game of cat and mouse that has always been going on since the dawn of computers,
Forever.
and it's never going to end anytime soon. So
Even
it's just
before
gonna keep going.
computers.
Oh
Yes. Oh yeah. For
So
sure.
Yep.
it's actually, there's
Yep.
always been scammers.
Yep.
Always.
So yeah, security researchers use AI for defense, etc. We already covered that. Public awareness, again, educating individuals
Which
and
we are doing.
businesses about AI threats is
Yeah.
crucial for building a proactive defense. So again, it just comes down to educating your staff, security awareness training, all that kind of stuff, and letting them know that AI is going to make this harder to spot in the future, and you need to be more careful when you're, going through your emails and all the links and all the malicious stuff like
Trust
that.
no one.
Yep.
Yep.
Zero trust.
And then international collaboration. This talks about obviously how AI threats global cooperation. So obviously, you know what
Yeah.
I mean, just more of a political thing, kind of getting off topic, but obviously there needs to be some sort of government so you don't have some AI that's allowed to reproduce its own code and then augment itself, and then you tie that with an automated weapon system. It's just go Skynet. So let's just avoid that as a globe
Well,
together.
it's not even just a political thing. It's that some countries just don't actually have laws for,
Yep.
hacking.
There's no oversight or anything.
That's
like
why
that.
it's so hard to catch them.
Right.
So,
So you
yeah.
see a large amount
Yep.
of traffic from certain regions, and it's just it is what it is.
Yeah. And then this just says the story of AI is not ending, it's evolving. 2024 isn't the year to fear AI, but it's a good year to get us serious about the security implications.
Yep.
And by acknowledging the risks and taking steps, you can ensure that it remains a force for good, shaping for a safer, more prosperous future for all. So again, it's not going to go anywhere. AI is not just going to stop and everyone's going to stop using it. There's no way they're going to just like make AI illegal and stop programming. Like, it's just not going to
No.
happen.
Yeah.
So
No.
like, it's here to stay. You're better off learning to use it.
Learn to use it.
and
And
yeah,
Would you say
invest in your
it's
cybersecurity.
Yeah, and basically, yeah, invest in your cybersecurity. And if you're not sure where you
Yeah.
stand with that, I mean, it's going to be more and more important to have it where cybersecurity, maybe if you're a very small business, less than 20 people, you're like, yeah, it's kind of an optional thing, but it's to the point where even smaller businesses,
yeah,
you need to have some sort of cybersecurity in place. And if you're not sure what your tools do, obviously reach out. We can help, go through a scan, can show you some stuff and kind of walk you through that.
Even at
So-
home.
yes.
We don't help with that,
Absolutely,
but
we can.
you can learn and do what
Biggest
you can.
thing you can do
right?
for home is educating either young ones or elderly people on the ramifications and to be just alert, just like you would in
Don't
the
click
office.
the links. Don't,
Right,
all the
right.
stuff,
Figure out
which we
the-
talk about every week.
Yeah,
So,
the
Set up-
balance of
set
like
up-
convenience versus security.
Make sure to set
It's
up
one of
MFA
those-
for grandma.
Yes.
So,
for
Yes.
sure, and show her how to use it.
Yep.
Okay, so go to our website, sign up for your free security assessment so that you can get started on your cybersecurity for your company. And let us know if you have any questions. It'd be great to hear from you. Make it a great day.